Hi, hello guys. Actually, I have a little surprise for you. We're gonna do this. I'm waiting for the Instagram to go live. I hope there is seems to be some sort of a problem with the connection. Let me just try and fix it. Let's see. In the meantime, I'm gonna get all nice and ready. King's Day! So, let me just see. Oh. I was hoping that this is not gonna be an issue, but yay! I have my crown on. I'm ready. It's King's Day. So here in the Netherlands, I'm just gonna wait for a while until we're all good to go with let's see, the Insta. I hope Insta will work now. Why not? Let's have a bit of a party. Fingers crossed for Easter. Checking for connection. There we go, we're live. Both Facebook, Instagram. Hello guys, good evening, hello. I don't have trumpets, I don't have anything like that, but I do have my crown on. Because here in the Netherlands, we are celebrating the birthday of the king, which is the very, very famous King's Day. So it normally would have massive parties, massive street parties. I don't know how many millions of tourists are coming into the country every single year for celebrating the birthday of the king. This year we had a bit of a different one because we all stayed home. But I'm gonna, for that purpose, just not to forget that I'm doing this on the King's day night. So I'm actually gonna kind of have a little bit of fun. I hope you can concentrate. I hope this is not deconcentrating you too much, but if it is, I'm gonna take it off. So I'm gonna get ready because tonight we have, I think it's the third School of Nutrition night. So every Monday, 9 a.m. For about sort of half an hour, I give a little crash course called, well, I call it the School of Nutrition. And it's basically tips for sharing and how can we live a healthy and fit life through food. Right? Why food? Because food is about 80% of what we do. So 80% of how we feel, how we look, if you want to lose weight, if you're going to become fit, if you want to get more energy, if you want your nails to improve, face to improve, skin to improve, everything, hair, all that, it's actually food. Nutrition is very, very important. So 80% is nutrition and about 20% is then the workout and of course the rest. That's also very, very important. But the 20% is the rest, and all of it together is this sort of 100% of results which you want to get. So tonight we're gonna have the topic of breakfast. I have a little presentation which I'm gonna open up for myself so I don't forget things. Let me see, here we go. So a little bit about myself. For the guys that don't know me, my name is Anastasia. I'm one of the health ambassadors of Amsterdam City. And my greatest sort of love is to really help people bring value to people's lives, being able to help them in any way I can. This is sort of my greatest joy, really sort of creating and bringing value and creating an impact. And then there are different ways how I do that. One of the ways that I do is every morning, 9 o'clock, you see me jumping around, like bouncing around like the extremely happy and joyful person for the emergency wellness workout. And one of the reasons I feel great in the morning is actually because of my breakfast. Another reason for not only feeling great, but also keeping my sort of weight under control, being able to lose the 40 plus kilos that I've lost over the years, It is from the basis, so it is the breakfast. So having said that, I always like to point out that I'm doing this School of Nutrition, or any live that I actually do, anything that I kind of talk about or do. Definitely, I'm not a person, I know that I don't know everything. I know that I don't have all the answers, but I have a certain experience that I've built throughout the years, which is in a way backed up by expertise and science and all that, but it is my own personal experience. It is the way that I do things. It is the results speak for themselves, and this is what I want to bring to you guys. So that's what I'm doing. Right. So we're gonna start with the kind of the actual part of the School of Nutrition. And last time, whoever was watching, we talked about protein. If you guys want to know more, all my videos are on YouTube, and I can send you the link. But last time we talked about the protein and the importance of protein. So would be great if I could hear you, but since I can't, maybe sort of an open question to you guys. Did you try to implement some of the things that we talked about last time? So that is the couple of things we talked about. So first, eating more protein, so including more protein in your daily habits. Ideally, that we could reach this sort of 1 gram per kilo of weight in our total day. So my first question to you would be, have you managed to do that? So maybe you want to sort of answer that for yourself. The second thing is, did you try to combine, if you're eating more animal-based protein, did you try to combine that with more plant-based protein? That doesn't mean that you should eat just plant-based protein, but maybe just bring a little bit more balance into your food, that it's a combination between the animal-based and the plant-based protein. So did you do that? That's sort of a second thing you might want to talk about. And just maybe want to kind of think for yourselves, or if you need my support, you can let me know. If you have managed to do all this, thumbs up, really, guys. I would love to hear your experiences, so you can text me, or maybe just try to answer the question for yourselves. Why haven't you done it? So especially the ones that are in sort of this kind of process of changing the life habits and the nutritional habits, this is really, really important thing. Like, why are we not doing certain things? If we would do this live, I'll be able to give a little bit of a measurement. I mean, live, not like on Facebook Live, but actual physical live. I would be able to do a little bit of measurements. I can measure your waist. I can measure your weight. I can measure your fat percentage, muscle mass, and then sort of see like, hey, have there been any changes? Since we can't do that, maybe you want to do that for yourself. So maybe you want to measure your waist again. Maybe you want to measure your weight again, just to see where you guys are, especially if you're kind of doing this for particular improvements in your lifestyle. Right, so today we're going to really talk about the topic of breakfast. And the first question that I always like to ask people is, have you thought about the meaning of the word breakfast? So what does the word breakfast mean? Some guys know, some guys don't, but it's actually a very old English word, which actually comes from two words, which is breaking fast. So we are breaking the fast with our breakfast, which means that about sort of 10-12 hours before that, so since we've gone to bed or since our last meal, we haven't really eaten anything or drank anything. So with the breakfast, we have been fasting. So with the breakfast, we need to break that fast. And therefore is this expression that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, right? It is the part of the day from which before that we haven't eaten or drank anything for a longer period of time. So it is really the most important meal of the day, and it is the fuel. It is really sort of the fuel for our body, hydration-wise and nutrition-wise. It's sort of like you get into a car and you have a beautiful car, like, sport car, whatever you guys feel like having. And it doesn't matter how good the engine is, it doesn't matter how good the car is, if the fuel tank is empty, you can't do much, right? So that's kind of breakfast for our body. We can be top-notch condition, we can be this and that, look good, whatever, but if we don't give the body the necessary fuel, then basically starts crashing kind of throughout the day. So that's why breakfast is really the most important thing for the most important meal of the day. Now, there are a couple of things about breakfast, and most of the time, unfortunately, people will either, I'm not saying that everybody, but most of the people, especially people struggling with weight, and some of you will recognize yourselves into this, is that we as people tend to either not have breakfast or have a very carb-based breakfast, sugary-based breakfast. What does that mean? So, and of course, there's a group of people that tries to eat healthy, so they will, of course, eat. I'm just talking kind of about the majority of people, not everybody, but majority, especially, again, people struggling with weight. So what do we have? We have one group of people that kind of is really not eating breakfast, or the group of people that eats more sugary-based breakfast. What is a sugary-based breakfast? Anything that sort of is too much carbs. So even cereals, which are healthy, don't get me wrong, they are not unhealthy. They just have cereals have naturally a lot of carbs in them. Toasty, ham and cheese, all that, it really is a lot of carbs to bring into the body at once. Then there is another sort of, kind of milk and jam and those things. That's sort of the sugar based. Then you have the other side, which is the people that tend to not have breakfast, or they would just sort of grab a cup of coffee and that's it. And then they're gonna go with very late or later breakfast. What happens with our body is the following. This is really, really important to understand, because with that, you're going to be able to give yourselves a lot of answers to how you feel. Let's say we have the people that are going to eat sugary breakfast. So you're going to eat the cereals, you're going to eat ham and cheese on your bread, something very quick, a croissant on the way to your work, whatever you feel like it. So let's talk about that group. What happens is that carbs are going to so your sugar is going to go up, your sugar levels are going to go up, which is followed by the insulin in your body. So that is a natural curve. So the sugar in your body, the insulin in your body, there is a peak, and because there is nothing to sustain it, that suddenly that drops. So the sugar in the body drops, your insulin drops, and you start having cravings, and you go into a hunger mode. When you go into hunger mode, the first thing you want to do is go and grab another portion of carbs, because carbs are going to give you that boost again. So naturally, throughout the day, you kind of go into this sort of ups and downs. There is no controlled level of sugar or energy in the body, and this is very, very dangerous for people that have problems with sugar. I mean, like diabetes type of people, and I'm talking about not the the type 1, but the one we cause, which is the type 2, which is actually caused by the lifestyle and the food. So we have this up and down and up and down and up and down, which sort of gets us into a very unsustained levels of sugar in our body and cravings and all that. Now, let's talk about the other group of people, which is then the ones that don't have breakfast. It actually, in essence, happens the same thing. It just starts the other way around. So we don't have breakfast. Let's say we wake up 7 o'clock and somewhere, or 8 o'clock, doesn't matter, and somewhere around sort of, we grab a cup of coffee, and the first thing we eat is around sort of 10, 12, or 10 or 11 o'clock, so big gap. What happens is that we start with a hunger mode. So we do the exact opposite. We don't give the body fuel, so the body goes into a hunger mode. And if you remember previous times, we talk about the body storing, because the body gets a signal like, hey, there is no food. We're going to store because we don't know when we're going to eat next time. So the body goes into a hunger mode. And the first thing you do is around sort of 10, 11 o'clock, you want to go for kind of a cookie, because that feels good. That's going to bring the sugar up. Or croissant, because that's going to bring the sugar up. So in essence, you do the exact same thing where you're going to bring your sugar up. You have a high level of sugar. There will be a crave. So, you're craving high level of sugar. That does not going to keep you too long. Half an hour later, you're hungry again because the sugar has dropped. And in essence, you sort of go into the same kind of up and down mode. The problem there is that because it's a very uncontrolled levels of sugar, the body gets a signal that this is a sort of an emergency state of like we talked before with the proteins. And again, for the ones that haven't listened, I can share with you the video, you can have a look. But basically the body gets a signal like, hey, there is something going on. We don't know what it is. It's like an unusual situation, in emergency. We're going to store. So basically with this up and down, the body starts storing. And the tendency is that the body is going to actually store a couple of grams of fat per day. Just by you doing this uncontrolled ways of up and down and up and down and up and down. Whether you're going to eat sugar at breakfast or whether you're not going to eat breakfast. It's the same in essence. It is the same problematic you're causing to the body. So what we actually, of course, there are people that are going to say, no, but I eat breakfast. And I make sure that my breakfast is good. And there are people like that. I do believe that. I've talked to people, I've met people, I've coached people that do that. But even in that situation, everything we need to bring into our body, it is quite a lot of food. So in order not to eat too many calories, we start cutting down on the essential nutrients. Again, we talked about it in the previous videos. So what do we want to have? I'm kind of just going through my slides just to make sure that I have covered everything. So the answer is very, very simple. But before we do that, let's just look at the facts once again. So first, if we eat a sugary breakfast or 2 sugary breakfasts right after we get up, what we do is we create these peaks in our body, and our body starts storing because it's too much sugar, and sugar is converted into fat. The other thing is that if we and again, most of the time these carbs are the simple carbs. They are not the healthy carbs we should be eating. The second thing is that if we start eating too late, or actually we don't have breakfast because the exact same situation just started a little bit later. So and carbs are not really the only thing that our body needs in the morning, of course, right? So it should be balanced. We need everything. What is the answer to this? The answer to this is actually more simple than we think. It should be the balanced breakfast. It should be a balanced, not only healthy, as we said before, healthy is not always balanced because the proportions we bring into our body are very important. So it should be healthy and it should be balanced, and it should be something is going to feed our body and every cell in our body. Having said that, healthy breakfast should consist of not only food, but also hydration. So also water. Again, breaking the fast. So we need to break it with hydration. We need to break it with food. What are all the elements that we need to bring in our body? Those are the 6 for success, as we called them last time. So there are 6 elements we actually need to eat, not only with our breakfast, but with every single meal. So we have the proteins and the carbs. Those are the basic elements, the proteins and the carbs. We need to bring vitamins, minerals. We need to bring good fat, so the healthy fat. We need to bring the digestive fiber, so fiber to clean. We need to do the phytonutrients, and we need to hydrate. So it's 6 things we need to bring into our body with every single meal we eat. And of course, when you hear that, the first thing you're gonna go like is, no way, dude. I mean, it's almost impossible that I do this. Now, there is a reason for it, is because every single of this brings energy to our body, right? Releases energy into our body and feeds our body, and it influences how our day is going to be, but also influences how well we're going to rest, because in the resting phase, our body is going to recuperate and needs all these nutrients to recuperate. So most of the time, people that feel energy deprived, they don't have energy throughout the day, they don't feel well. Most of the time, the problem is that they don't start with a good base, which is the breakfast. It's not the only thing, but it is one of the most important things. Okay, so I'm just going kind of through my slides that I don't forget anything. Okay, as we said, we have the 6 elements for success. And we need to bring that into the breakfast as well. So again, that's water, that's protein, that's carbs, that's digestive fiber, minerals, vitamins, phytonutrients, and all that. The good fats and all those elements together. But of course, in the morning when we wake up, we either don't have the time for it. We either, if we bring all that, we're gonna get stuck in the kitchen for like 3 hours. Or if we actually do all that, we're going to bring way too much calories into our body. So it's very, very difficult to bring this healthy breakfast to you. Of course, in this way of life we have today, we want to sort of all have kind of quick fixes and, not quick fixes that much as shortcuts. So for the guys that are following me and listening to me and seeing me on Facebook and on Instagram, know that I love to do my morning tea. So my morning tea is with aloe vera, which is for hydration and for detox. The tea is for energy, so I get extra energy in the morning. I drink that in like a big cup, this size, every morning, and then I do my smoothie. In the smoothie, I put all the sort of make it with protein and everything that I include. I'm a big fan of Herbalife nutrition, which doesn't mean that you should be too, or you should go for it or do that. It is my experience. It has saved my life. It has improved my health tremendously. It has helped me lose weight. So I love what that company does. The products included. This is my opinion. I'm sharing this with you guys, that there is a solution for anybody interested. And of course, if not, you can always go back to the traditional way of breakfast. Just make sure, please, that, for instance, you can sort of incorporate into your breakfast. So I can give you a couple of examples. Again, it seems like a lot of food, but we need to bring into our breakfast, especially if you make sure that you follow the general rule of 1 gram of protein per kilo of weight for the day. So let's say you're 80 kilos, you need to eat 80 grams of protein, roughly. Men a little bit more than women. I see for a moment there Insta went dead, but it's okay. So for instance, you need to do in the morning, make sure when you get up, you drink 1 or 2 glasses of water, ideally 2. So again, I have I would do normally freshly squeezed lemon in a hot water, and the tea with aloe in another cup. So I will have 2 cups. One is the hot lemon water, and the other one is my tea and aloe. And I would drink that before I eat. So I always first do that. And second, then I make sure that I eat. Again, for me, that would be my smoothie, which I sometimes do it in pancakes or sometimes do it in porridge or whatever it is, all the different versions. But for you guys, what you can do is, for instance, you can have 1 or 2 eggs, you can have some cheese. Make sure so that you have the protein, eggs or cheese or salmon or those kinds of things. Make sure you always have vitamins and minerals. So some fresh veggies, some fresh fruits. Really just make sure it's really that. So don't go for the jam, don't go for the, make sure that you bring the digestive fiber. So fiber, make sure you bring fiber in any form you can, whether it will be oats or something similar cereals, but just make sure they're not sugary based cereals. They will not have some additional addings to it. And you gotta have the good fats, so like olive oil or avocado or those kinds of things. So you can have a nice piece of bread with nice piece of toast, or a good kind of whole grain cracker. You can have some eggs, avocado on it, a little bit of salmon. You gotta combine. But again, and this is just to point out how important breakfast is. You gotta drink and you gotta eat. Whatever you do, make sure it's 2 glasses at least. So ideally 2 glasses of liquid. Coffee doesn't count. I'm sorry. Coffee doesn't count because coffee makes us pee and it's a diuretic, so it actually dehydrates us. It's okay to drink the coffee after, so that's okay, but not first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning, hydrate, not dehydrate. Hydrate, 2 glasses, and then eat. You can either choose to do shortcuts with some nutritional meal replacement shakes. If you want to try what I do, let me know. I'll be happy to share with you guys, ship you over, whatever it is. If you don't want to do that, just make sure you bring into your food proteins, vitamins, minerals, good fats, digestive fiber. Very, very important. Okay, so a couple of things. Let me see. Where are we at? One kind of a little bit of sort of a recap, and this is usually people ask me like, yeah, but why are you such a big fan of breakfast? And well, look at me in the morning at 9 o'clock and you're gonna figure it out. Because when everybody's totally dead at 9 o'clock, I'm all bouncy and going up and down, and that's what the breakfast does. But there are a lot of amazing benefits from just simply improving your breakfast. So just that. For instance, because you're going to make sure that the energy, so with a good breakfast, you make sure that the energies throughout, at least in the beginning of the day, stays stable. You're not going to have those ups and downs. The energy is stable. So you're not going to get cravings. You can have better control of your food choices throughout the day just by starting the day right. Another thing is that it's going to improve your memory and your well-being. So your memory, your concentration, your well-being. Why? Because the body is not going to get concentrated onto digesting whatever it is that you have eaten, but instead it's going to fuel the body and give it energy, especially mind, to function properly. So it improves the well-being, it improves memory, it improves the concentration. With the breakfast, you can make sure that you start with a good nutritional boost. So if you want to reach a certain target of proteins or vitamins, minerals, or whatever it is, but simply by starting with a good breakfast, you actually give the body the initial boost. It helps with all bodily functions, right? Because if you bring it enough of the digestive fiber, if you bring it enough of the hydration, you make sure you get all the toxins out of your body through the bodily functions. We're not going to mention what it is, especially not with the live, but you know, guys, what I mean, the number one and number two. It is very important, especially for people that want to manage their weight. So if you want to manage your weight, either with getting the weight down or getting the weight up, it starts with breakfast. If you want to get your energy balanced throughout the day, it starts with breakfast. It's not the only thing, but it is the starting point for a good day. And of course, last but not least, it gives really, really great energy and feel. So those are kind of the reasons why I'm a big fan of the breakfast, and why I always kind of sort of promote it. And when people say, but what is it that you do? I always say, like, I just have a good breakfast. And usually people say, yeah, me too. At that point, I like to ask them, what is it did you have for breakfast today? And when we start chatting, they realize, like, well, my breakfast doesn't actually give me all that energy that I need. So my question to you guys is, if you would like to change something, ask yourselves, how do I feel? And if you don't really feel where you want to be, most probably you got to start changing things, but most probably you got to start changing with your breakfast. Okay. There are a couple of tips I want to give you just for good healthy choices. So you can either try to, I know I'm not a big fan of this, but some people are, so I thought it's nice to share. It very much helps to keep a log throughout the day, just a log, so it can help you improve your daily habits. And then we can look at that log, and we can that log helps me always to sort of see where you guys are. That's one thing. And the other thing is, if you guys feel like it, you can always fill in the online wellness and FitCheck that I have. I'm gonna drop the link after the live, so you can guys have it. It's for free. Those are a couple of questions, just asking about your kind of habits, and how do you eat, how do you feel, what do you drink, those kinds of things, which is also going to give me an indication of where you guys are. And then we can talk about what is it that you would like to change, or can change, or you know, anything else that you would like to discuss on that topic. But you can also do a log, and there are a lot of things out there that you can use. For instance, one of the great ones that I used to use, I don't do that anymore, because after, what is it now, 6 years of really changing my nutrition, I kind of got used to it. But for instance, you can use PayPal, a FitnessPal, PayPal, not PayPal, but okay. So FitnessPal, for instance, you can use, which is a great app for just logging in what is it that you eat. Why is it good? Why I like the FitnessPal is that it also gives you like how many carbs versus protein versus fat you have eaten throughout the day, which is good. There are a lot of others, like Fit Secret and my calorie coach. You can also try to download that if you want to keep a log, or you can just sort of note down what is it that I ate for breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, and what is it that I drank. So those are the basic stuff you need to log in. Okay, so that would be a bit of the topic of the breakfast, and why I'm such a big fan of the breakfast. I hope, guys, it serves you educationally, and people that have changed their breakfast and improved their nutrition habits, which I am following and coaching in most of the cases, if not even all of the cases, immediately just after 3 to 4 days. Just by improved nutrition, just by changing the breakfast, doing what I do, they start feeling the difference in energy, difference in the good feel. For some people, it's even improved and better sleep. And if I have some moms there with young kids, I know it's difficult. I've been there. We can't blame the nutrition on that. It's just we need to live through that period of our lives. But in general, there is a much more improved well-being. So it's very simple, it's very easy. If you guys have any questions, you can always feel free to let me know. I'm more than happy to help and support. I'll drop the link if you guys want to have a look at it, the online wellness and FitCheck. And I think that will be it for tonight. So please make sure that you keep your health top notch, especially in these very unusual circumstances that we are facing. Health is very, very important now more than ever. Whatever you do, try not to make it too complicated. Try to make it simple, and really is very, very simple. It is very, or you know, it just, health is not rocket science. And I always point that out. It is simple, but it's not easy. Why? Because it just requires a couple of things that you need to remember, but it's not easy because we need to change in order for things to change. So that's why it's not easy, but it is very, very beneficial. So if you feel like reaching out, let me know. We'll be in touch. I'll see you guys again next week. School of Nutrition, 9 p.m. Monday evening. I don't know the date anymore, but it is Monday evening, 9 p.m. And next time we're actually going to talk more about carbs. In essence, sugar and carbs. I try to distinguish a couple of things, because carbs are not bad, not at all. If you know what is it that you're eating and how much or in what proportions, in the balance, what you're gonna eat. So that's it for me, guys, for tonight. I'm still with my crown. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a lovely evening. Wishing you much health, much love, joy. Stay safe. Stay home if you still need to stay home in your countries. We're gonna get through this, and before you know it, it's gonna be over, and we're gonna feel and look much better than we did before if we follow these tips and things that I'm sharing. So thank you very much. Bye, guys. Have a wonderful evening. I didn't see any, I saw a lot of thumbs up, but I didn't see any questions. Anyhow, if you guys have any, thank you, Sonia, thank you. If you have any, you can always text me. So I'm here. I'll make sure I reply. Bye, guys. Good evening. Bye.